Hello everybody, Ketchy1383 with Ketchy Gaming, covering the Nintendo Direct for June 21st, 2023. Today was a good one. There's a lot of good announcements with this one, some very surprising ones as well. So it starts off with a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet announcement, and to be honest, Scarlet and Violet was just such a letdown, particularly due to the poor quality of the game. Its performance was just abysmal, and it was even Sword and Shield I kind of went back to a little bit, which they just felt like really bad remakes of Pokemon Red and Blue. But these, I think the game needed more time in development, a lot more time in development. And I wish they would really do that. And they're announcing 2 new areas for the whole entire game. I wonder if it crosses both of them. Probably will, but usually I would go through this, but I can't download it yet, and I still have a boatload of videos to make today. So they did go over the new Sonic 2D game, which I've only ever played one on the Game Gear. So I'll probably try and pick this one up mainly because it also has a multiplayer component, and I'll try playing this with my friends. So that's the Sonic Superstars. I definitely will try that. Now this one I find a bit shady. It's Palia. It's a free-to-play game, so I'm wondering what's the catch. What are they going to do to monetize this game? And it's another weird live-action hunting farming simulator. They have a ton of them. They've announced a ton of them last year, and they have a ton this year as well, including some I'm pretty sure they already announced, but they put in the Direct again. But like I said, I'm a little wary of how they're going to monetize it if it's free to play. And then they have a strategic game based off of Persona 5 or Persona 5 Tacticia. Honestly, the art style is off-putting to me, and I don't think I can get into this one. I sort of got into Persona 5. I actually played it a little bit. And I tried picking up the Royal version on the Xbox Live app. I really couldn't get behind it again after beating it. And it's just one of those games, just the first playthrough was like 70 plus hours. I mean, that's neither here or there when it comes to this game, but it just personified out from that. Okay, this next one. This has a definitely unique and very interesting visual art style that I actually found intriguing. It's supposed to be inspired by Saturday morning cartoons. It's a first-person game based off of sort of a fantasy setting. And this one I will probably also have to try. It's a 4-player co-op game as well. And let's get to the title. There you go, Myth Force. And then they announced some stuff for Splatoon 3. Let's go with yes, because I have never touched a Splatoon game in my life. It's based off of vanilla, strawberry, and mint chocolate chip. Which one's better? Sorry, objectively, it's peanut butter and chocolate. And then they have a new Pokemon game. I was like, another one. Let me unmute this one for a reason, because it's Detective Pikachu.
I hereby proclaim this day the start of Pokemon Friendship Week.
Tim Goodman. Pikachu. You two are the ideal detective duo.
Disguises are a key part of detective work.
Quit goofing off and investigate.
So much for my coffee.
Something tells me this is just
So when I heard this, I was confused mainly because the syncing is way off, but I guess that's to be expected. I don't think they're going to put that much effort into syncing it up with the English version. Not really necessary. So this next announcement, I heard it and I was like, oh, I recognize that music instantly. This was the RPG I loved the most as a kid, and I occasionally still visit it. And I'm like, what are they gonna do? Are they announcing another or a sequel to it? Not quite, but otherwise, this is still a pretty solid game, particularly an RPG if you like turn-based, which I still do. And I was like, oh, at least they did something with this series, and I'm kind of hoping that they sort of lead this into a direct sequel. Yeah, it's several decades later, and I kind of wonder if this came about because, let's face it, the Super Mario Superstar Saga games, well, the company kind of went bankrupt, which just leaves them with Paper Mario. And I don't know how people feel about that. I'm okay with the series, but Mario RPG is still the far superior RPG when it comes to any Mario RPG. So I can't wait to get my hands on this one. They then had another surprise announcement. Peach is finally getting her second game. And to be honest, Peach having her own game is long since overdue. The first one I don't think really did well. So I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do with this, and I'm probably play it out of curiosity. So then they made an announcement for Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which, let's face it, it was definitely probably more than likely the least like Luigi's Mansion. Probably, at least if I were to speculate, that it was on the 3DS. Not that the 3DS was a terrible system. It's just that the motion controls were just utter garbage on the 3DS and controlling it. So I'm hoping this will fix some of those issues. And then they announced that the Batman Arkham series was coming to the Switch. I mean, yes, these were good games, but it feels like a little too late, which is quite common for the Switch just to put out games that have been out for a very long time. And I guess, yeah, the Switch is about as powerful as when these games came out, so I guess that makes sense to some degree. Then they announced Gloomhaven, which is based off of the board game, which I've played both, and these games are hard. I streamed it for an hour when it came out free, or on the Epic Games Store. Couldn't get through the first mission because of the way the game is. I don't think it's that aspect of the game is well designed, the whole exhaustion part of it, and I honestly cannot recommend this game to people. And then there's Ubisoft's Let's Dance. This portion lasted way too long. And then they had another action RPG announcement called Silent Hope. I don't know, it could be fun, but I honestly didn't really care for it. And then they had another farming action RPG, which they announced before, which was like Fae Force. Yeah, no, I'm good. And they had Hot Wheels. Can't remember the title, and I skipped over it. But yeah, it was a Hot Wheels based racing game, so I guess that might be fun. And it looks like something very similar, if not made by the same company that did Overcooked, made a mechanic-based game. I think it's like Maniac Mechanic. And it looks very similar, so I'm guessing it probably is made by them, where you repair cars. Then there was the Mario and plus Rabbids Spark of Hope DLC announcement, which comes out today. Another Dragon Quest spin-off of sorts, basically Pokemon with Dragon Quest. I don't know how that'll do in the US or in Japan. They then covered Pikmin 4 again, expanding upon what you've already learned in the past about how the game works, what you're going to be doing. Adding a versus match component to it as well. I don't know if it'll be with other people or with a... I'll assume it can be with other people. Or if it's against a computer. Who knows? But they also announced 2 HD versions of Pikmin 1 and 2. Coming today, actually. Shadow dropping that, which was nice. I guess one of the more exciting aspects of this is you can go out at night, which you couldn't before. You were always forced to retreat at night. So then they also announced the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1, which will have Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3. I wonder if they're going to do the Solid Snake release as well, or they're just going to stick with what looks like the PlayStation version. And then they announced Vampire Survivor, or Survivors. I believe this was a mobile game that was super popular, so now they're going to release it on the Switch. I actually never played it. And then they announced a sort of party-based rhythm game with pigeons. Yeah, this one didn't go well. A few more game announcements here and there, like, I don't know, this isn't releasing. Well, I guess the Mario games aren't even releasing until next year anyways. But then they announced Mario Kart Wave 5, where they're adding a whole new track and they're adding 3 new characters. So, I wonder if they're just never going to develop another Mario Kart at this point. Another Wario game using motion control, so that already is a direct no from me in that regards. Announcement for stuff that's only coming to Seattle. Honestly don't care because it's Seattle and I don't want to get robbed, so no thank you, sorry Nintendo. Anyways, 2 new amiibos coming later this year, Ganondorf and Zelda. And lastly, another Mario announcement. Brand new 2D Mario. Mario Wonder. So they're definitely trying to change up the formula just a little bit with this. As you can see, it gets a little on the trippy side when he grabs a Wonder Flower, as they called it during the trailer. But one of the things I noticed is that Princess Daisy is in the game and she is playable. So yay! Only a matter of time before she gets her own game too, I guess. And they also introduced another power-up. Mario turns into an elephant. So these were the highlights for the Direct today, at least in my opinion. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching and have a good one.